Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And in this episode here we're going to carry on tidying up the front and hopefully work our way across the top there. Now just looking in between episodes here, I haven't really changed anything too much, but I'm a bit concerned about this area here. So what we're going to do first is we are going to draw a line. So we can use our multi-cut tool here, and this is going to allow us to draw a line from this point. This will be fine. We're going to follow the curve around the front section here, like so. And this is just going to allow us to give a little bit of structure to the front section. I was a bit concerned that once we start coming to smooth here, that this area would give us a little bit of trouble. So let's just bring that out like so. And again, we can pull these points out just to help maintain the curve there a little bit. Now we've got 3 edges here, but it's not too much of an issue. We can add another one down here when we come to add the details, but once we smooth this off, Maya will automatically generate an extra face there anyway for us, so it's not too big of a deal just now. So what we will do is, I think everything else there is looking okay. We will need to add a bit more detail here when it comes to making this middle section, but that's okay just now. What we'll look to do is we'll maybe extrude in and down underneath here. So in order to do that, we want to make sure that this is exactly where we want it to be. So we'll bring all of these points into the correct shape here, and here, bring this point down. And again, we duplicated special in the last episode, so everything we adjust on this one side here will be adjusted on the other as well. What we're going to do is we'll grab all of these edge faces, or these edges should I say here, and we're just going to hit Ctrl E so we can extrude these in, and we're just going to pull down, and then we can scale in slightly on the one side here, just pull that around roughly where it should be. And then of course what we'll want to do is pull these in. Now we'll go in just a little bit for now, something like that would be fine. And in our front view here, we're just going to make sure that we're following the correct curve. Bring this down here. You can use X, hold down X to snap that back into the center. Bring all these down into position here. Just follow this line, like so. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay. Now what we could do is we could think about these elements here. So what I think we'll want to do first is we'll want to grab all of these points, all of these edges around here, and we're just going to hit Ctrl E, and we're just going to extrude inwards. I'm going to go in a fair amount here, like so. And what we'll do is, again, we're going to leave this with triangles, but we can sort this at a later stage. We're going to grab these points here. We're going to hold V, sorry, and we're going to snap those in. We can edit mesh and merge, and then we'll do the same with this top vertices here. We'll grab this here. We're going to hold V, snap to this point here, select them, edit mesh and merge. Fine. Now we want to do the same with these points here. We want this point to come down and attach itself here. So again, you can edit mesh and merge those together. Do the same here, like so. Now with these points, we're going to bring them up so that, and we're going to bring this one down so that they're maintaining that kind of shape as they go. And I think what we'll do is we'll simply bring those in. Now let's see if we can see on the side view here. So we can see that we can't actually see these points too well. Let's just grab this and bring this down. Same there. So we'll bring this one maybe just there, and this one here maybe just there. Okay, let's see how that looks now. I think flip the script a little bit. We'll just pull them in a little bit there. Okay, we can adjust those a little bit more should we need to in the future. And let's see what's going on with this front section here. Okay, so we're kind of going into a little bit of an inlet, so we can double click on this edge to select all of these here. We're going to hit Ctrl E to extrude, and we can see that we've got kind of a separate lip, so we're only going to go into that lip and then we'll model the rest of that separately, because it looks like it's a nice intake that's probably going straight through to cool the brakes. So we'll extrude it in. We've got a little bit of a line around here, which is where we'll go to just now. So it looks like this goes up here. We'll kind of curve around with that there. Let's just check the references real quick. Okay, so we've actually got some mesh. This doesn't actually go in that far at all. So yeah, so it doesn't actually go that far. So we'll bring that right back here. And it kind of gets less and less. So we'll bring that down. And then this is practically touching around here. Here. And let's see how it looks on the top. Okay, so we can't even see the top, so the top kind of lips along and underneath. So bring that right up. Bring that right up here. And here. And we'll just grab those edges and just bring them in just a little bit. So again, we'll pay more attention to this when it comes to the actual details of the model. So over there a little bit as well. Extra shadow is going to annoy me though, so I'll bring it down a little bit here. Again, we'll edit that mainly when it comes to the actual bit. I'm just going to select these and extrude in as well. Okay, so far so good. Looking pretty good there. So now what we'll do is we will run up a little bit of the bonnet here. So what we're going to want to do is we will grab our edge here, and we are going to hit Ctrl E. What we'll do is we'll bring this up to the point where the hood scoop starts, and bring that up here. So this looks like it's roughly where the scoop starts, so we are going to hit Ctrl X to bring that in here, and then we can bring that all the way out to maintain the curvature there. So you see that's sitting quite nicely. We need this to be a little bit lower. Okay, and what we'll do now is we'll bring in an edge loop. So we're going to mesh tools, insert edge loop, and this edge loop is going to be what we're going to use for that scooped section there. And bringing this in, before we do anything, before we work on anything up there, we're just going to make sure we're going to be maintaining this curve here, and just the general curve of the whole car as well. So you want to make sure that every single edge loop that you add, you don't want to add it and then continue your workflow. You want to add it and then go back. You want to make sure that everything that you're affecting is going to be looking just as good as the rest of the car moving forward. That's going to allow us now to grab this again with Ctrl E, and we'll bring this up. This time we'll just bring it to the top of the scoop. And again, we'll move to the side view here. We'll bring it up to where it should be sitting, like so. Okay. what we'll do whilst we're here is we're going to bring this up, Control E again. We're just going to take that all the way up to the top section here. Now again, I like to make sure that I'm going as far as I can, and then I can add geometry in between. Down there. It just means doing it this way. You take it to its end point and then you add in between as and when you need it. The problem is if you try to add extrude, change, extrude, change, extrude, change, it's going to take you 10 times longer to do anything, so it's looking okay. Now we can see here instantly that this curve is looking a bit crap, so we are going to insert some edge loops and we'll drop one right in the middle here of the bonnet, and that will help us bring that up. And we'll drop another one, but this time at the top we'll do it a little bit tactfully. We'll drop one that's going to sit just there at the top of that scoop section. Now we want to be careful when we're coming to adding points in here. We don't want to just add points here, there and everywhere. Now the reason we want to be careful is because ultimately all of these points are going to be merging potentially to our wheel arch here. We can't have the case that we've got loads of edge loops inside here which are linking across to the bonnet there, because we don't want to end up flattening that section off. Now this is a little bit different to the Lamborghini in such a way that the lights actually travel up and quite far around, so a lot of these lower level ones can merge here, but still our higher tier ones are going to have to sit on this wheel arch somewhere, so I want to make sure we're not just throwing in loops everywhere. Okay, so that's looking okay. Maybe bring this here. And what we'll do is we'll drop one more loop, and we're going to drop this about here. This is going to then move along to the other scoop there. So move that up here. And we can pull that into position a little bit there. Okay, so far we're looking pretty good. Now, it looks like what we might want to do, let's just check out for a view here. So let's just go back into our top and just make sure that this is sitting good, because it looks a little bit bobbly in the front view. Just put some of these points a little bit better into position here. There's not much contrast on my blueprints here, so it's kind of hard to see, but I think that's looking okay. So this whole section here kind of scoops down into this lower section, so what we'll do is we'll bring this one here up to match. So we'll hit Control E here. We're just going to bring that, we can bring that all the way to the top. All the way to the top in such a way that this is going to match up to our sections here. So we'll bring that up and across there. Okay. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to actually want to match as much of the geometry here as possible. So we're going to use our Insert Edge Loop tool here, and this is going to match to here. This one will drop another one here. Again, we want to make sure that we're maintaining here as we go, so let's pull this point up. Okay. So, just about see that line there. We are then going to want to insert another edge loop, and this looks like it's probably going to match to the top of the headlight here. Kind of again want to make sure we're maintaining curvature. Pull this in just a little bit here. Pull this one all the way across there. Okay, so if we match the kind of shape at the top of the fender, the wing, up here. Okay, so it looks like this bit actually wants to be considerably higher. Like so. So just bring that across here until it's sat where it should be. Just kind of using both views here just to see. Okay, so that's sitting okay there. And that's sitting okay there. So that's going to almost directly translate across to that point here. Now let's just pull these down here just a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. And now we want one which is kind of going to follow along the lower section here. So if we insert our edge loops again, drop one here, one for the top of the scoop there, and then that's the rest as we go there. So you can see that I'm going to want to pull all these points across, so we can start to see that line a little bit easier now as we go. So I'll bring that up here, here, here. Now we want to be super careful. We want to consider everything at this point. We don't want to go too far and then end up being caught with our pants down. We want to make sure that everything is considered first. Now in my opinion, it would be best here to not run these points any further. We would want to run these points over here because we're going to want these to become part of the extra intake there. So we'll bring those across like so. Now the reason we're going to consider that is because we don't want too much geometry, too much topology going down here. We don't want this section here to look wavy, and we don't want this corner here to be sharp. So I think it would be a good shout there to make sure that we are considering that first, and then we can essentially bring in as many down the top here as we want. So we can easily bring another one here to match down this edge, and we can bring another one in between just to help maintain. So what we'll do is we'll try and have a half decent curve there. Now these look like they lip over, so I'm actually going to bring those to that line here, because it looks like the insert that we'll be putting here, the carbon fiber insert that goes on top with the little vents in, actually lips and sits on top of the panel there. So that'll be fine. So that's pretty good. And what we want to do is make sure that these are sitting nicely up here. So you can see that we've got that crease just about there. Now the wings are generally higher on supercars than the bonnets themselves. So bring these up nicely here. Now, which side is this one? Okay, so that's the front bit. So let's just make sure we're maintaining a nice curve here. And bring these down just a little bit there. That's pretty good to me. Got that kind of nice curve as we go up and around there. Cool. So, what we're going to want to do with this next bit is this is going to be more of an inset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, before we do actually, I want to make sure that these are sitting nice. They seem to be sitting a bit too high, so that is going to be part of that vent there. This and this here is part of the top. And then we'll be able to bring these down to the correct position here. So we can see here that the wings are generally higher on supercars than the actual bonnet itself. So what we're going to do here is we're going to want to kind of create a section where if we add an edge loop, it's going to run down and around and not run down and off the edge here. So what we could do is we could do it in a few ways. I think the easiest way to do it would probably be just to grab all of these points here. We could just extrude these across actually. Let's just merge these to their counterpoint parts. So we can hold V here. We'll go to Edit Mesh and Merge. Do the same here. If you select these here, we can press G. And that's going to merge it again because that's going to be the last tool that the software has remembered. So okay, so we've got those all merged up there. And before we do anything else, let's just make sure that we're sitting how we should all the way around here. So it looks to me like this actually needs to come considerably further down here. I'll take that along with it, the one to the right there. So that's looking okay. So what we'll do is we'll grab all of these points, all these faces should I say. Okay, just sure we've got all the correct ones selected there. Perfect. So we're going to grab all these points. I'm going to hit Ctrl E to extrude, and do this on the world option. We'll hopefully be able to tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to just extrude in slightly, like so. I want to kind of have decent shape to that there. Now we don't want to be inset too much, we just want to be inset ever so slightly. Go there. Okay, so that looks okay, we can tidy this up just now. First of all, what we're going to want to do is delete this edge here. And with this edge here is going to just push up there. This edge here, we can actually use these edges now, just to help maintain shape a little bit more. Now with these, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want them to come off quite a little bit. So we'll pull all of these here, and these are going to make the little inset step for us. Now with these, we want to make sure that we're following the bonnet line still. We don't want to end up kicking ourselves here. And here, we're going to want this to follow around in a loop fairly nicely. So if we go something like so. Now we don't want these to be too close to this edge here. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll bring them a little bit further away. The reason we don't want them to be too close is we don't want this inner section to actually be too defined. So maybe what we'll do is we'll bring these in and we'll bring them a little bit away from their counterparts, maybe halfway in between here and the scoop. Side there. And we'll do the same on this side here. We could probably bring these up here, like so. Okay, and we'll do the same here. We can bring these ones a little bit further away because we haven't got that scoop on this side. And we want them to maintain the kind of curve, so we want to kind of maintain that line angle as we go through, so we're not upsetting any geometry as we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, and what we want to make sure here is we want to make sure that we're sitting slightly lower than all these points. So you can see for the most part up top here we're looking okay. Go down. Like so. You can see how far down we do need to bring these by working with our view here. see that at the top it's shown us kind of depth that we need to look for. There. Not quite so much there. So just make sure we're following this a little bit better down here. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay, so that's looking quite nice there, so we can see that we've kind of got that required shape going along there. And what we could do is we could see about coming across this wing now, or the fender as our guys across the pond call it. So we'll grab these here, hit Control E, and we'll just bring that all the way across for now. Drop that just there. We can merge these together. We'll do V again. Select the two. Edit mesh and merge. Let's just bring those up here. Okay. Now for this line, it will be better to sit on the other side of it. It will be easier to cut, so we'll bring that across here like so. These here we'll bring up nice and high so that we're sitting where we should be there. That's looking pretty good. Let's bring that over here. Okay, it's starting to take quite a bit of shape now. We can kind of see that front end developing there. Now again, super basic mesh. As we go along, I'm going to keep it as low poly as possible. And what we'll do here is let's just make sure everything's sitting as it should. So it looks like here we have practically perfect amount of edges, so we're gonna Control E for extrude, and then we can merge these down here. So we can hold V, select them both, merge, do the same here and here. And what we'll do is we will insert an edge loop and we'll drop that inside here like so. And we'll bring this up to maintain that crease, so we know this point here is already in the correct position, so we can snap to it and we can merge those points there. And then what we'll do with these ones is we'll just make sure that these are also following the correct crease as we go up here and here. Okay, so it looks like we'll be starting to push out a little bit here. Cool. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so ideally we do want another line in here, but I don't want to add it just yet. And the reason for that is because I don't know how much detail we're going to need going along this section. I mean it looks fairly curved, so that's pretty good. We'll see about that just now because we don't want to offset any of the information that we've got down here just yet. So that's looking pretty good. Now what we could do is we could think about moving down this side of the wing here because we do have a little bit of information to pay attention to. So what we'll do is we'll grab all of these edges here again, we'll add this one in a little bit of time. We'll select all of those there, we'll hit Ctrl E on our world option. I'm going to pull directly out to the side here. So what this is going to do is we are going to run this curve here, this edge here, straight off the wheel arch. And it looks like this one can sit nicely here. So if we pull this a bit further out there, pull this in, and we'll just kind of maintain what we've got in terms of the shape. There we go. Pull this into the correct position. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. We can leave that, I think. Let's have a look. Not sure if that curves too much inwards. So it looks like it does actually move inwards a little bit. Yeah, so we can see that it is coming in just a little bit there. So it looks like it's stepping in a little bit more at the bottom than it does at the top. So let's grab these 2 points here and we'll pull those in. Looks pretty good. And this here. And then we'll just get a little bit less as we go. And we'll just grab these. Move them up so slightly. Now it's always important just to get that extra little bit of depth and detail inside there. So let's just grab this and put this one up as well. It does look like the little lip side skirt there is pretty much completely separate. Okay, that's looking good. And now that means we can bring this point here. We know what we're going to be merging to here, so we can hit Ctrl E, pull this up. Merge there. And we can bring this to where we need this to be. I think we get a good idea of this at the front actually. Okay, so it looks good now. Cool. What we'll do is we'll just run that last line across here. So we'll pull this one here, and we'll merge those two together, and then we'll just pull this in, and again remembering that what we actually want to do, we do actually want to overlap this lip slightly here. And again we can see this quite nicely in the front view. Just go straight there, goes just there, perfect. So with these aspects that we've just worked on here, we can actually see where this kind of cuts across into. So this point here, we can see that actually moves along this line there. We can actually see where this point starts as well, just in line here. And then we've got kind of following that line quite nicely along there, which is cool. That's looking good. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here so far. Let's have a think now in terms of this scoop. What we can do, let's go across into the middle here. here, and we can hold X to bring those nicely into the center there. We'll pull these down because we want to kind of maintain that curve as we go. So pull that down here. I'm going to need to pull it down as well here for the curve of the lower window. And we'll use our front view here just to make sure that we're sitting as we should. It's pretty good. Just a little bit higher here. Okay. Cool. Okay guys, so I think we've made some really decent progress in this episode here. It's looking pretty good. We can start to see the actual shape and the idea behind the car just there. What we'll do in the next episode is probably start to work down this top section of the side of the car here. We could probably quite nicely come all the way down. We could even start thinking about putting this wheel arch in place and joining together, because it looks like there isn't actually an A-frame pillar as such going around here, so we're not going to have to like model up the window. We'll probably add these in as trim sections in afterwards. So it's going to be a case, I think, of following along the side of the car, maybe follow all this end practically all the way around to the back here. We could even start going up around to the roof as well. Okay guys, cool.